Olivia, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about what it means to be a young adult, financial security, thinking about what you want in your life around wealth. We've been doing a lot of work at Aspen's financial security program on this issue because you know this better than I do because you were in this age cohort. But when you were young, when you were 18 to 25, right, this is like the time in your life that kind of sets you on a path, and it's stressful, and you need coaching and support, right? You need people to help you. You need actual financial stability. You need money and
Yes.
resources.
Yes.
You need to be able to manage finances. You're starting to make like real financial decisions on your own for the first
Yes.
time, right? And of course, you need opportunity pathways. You need to get into your career. Like that's what happens at this age. But for so many young people, it's just, they don't get that. And they don't come from private wealth, and their parents can't do it for them and their family. And there's no way. I mean, one, we miss out on all the potential and ideas and creativity and contributions when young people don't have it. And also, a country just won't thrive. And also, I just have to say, you're from Michigan, which
Yes,
is one
I
of my
am.
favorite states. Tell me what it's like in Michigan for you and your friends. Like, does what I say make sense to you? What's on your mind about it?
So I love the state of Michigan, honestly. I live in the city of Westland, or more so kind of like the border of Wayne Westland.
Okay.
And even though it is like a lower like socioeconomic community, I genuinely love it. All of my best friends, everyone that I know and everyone that I love is there.
Yeah.
And even though with like the financial conditions, there's always something I can find that brings me joy.
Yeah.
That kind of like dismisses that kind of issue. I love going to Detroit with my friends, walking around, going to Mom's Spaghetti.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's honestly a great experience because
Yeah.
I've grown up with these people my entire life, and I just can't wait to kind of expand our relationships further on into our adulthood.
I just read, so often when we're talking sort of technically in policy about communities, as you described yours, we focus all on like the money, the income. They're
Yes.
low income, they're low wealth, whatever. But that actually these are communities full of potential and hope
Yes.
and opportunity and thriving that are not defined by their money, but that actually deserve more money because money in our country, wealth is a necessity, right? It's the thing that'll give you all the choices that you want to make in your life. Tell me what about finances right now? The things I mentioned around coaching and support, financial capability, actually having financial security in your life, stability, money that's helping you thrive, and opportunity pathways, looking at a career, looking at college or training. Which of those are hard for you right now? Which are the ones that you want the folks listening to us to say, oh, I've got to pay attention and I've got to do something about it?
Yes. So growing up, like I said, I grew up in a low income community my entire life.
A community
And
full of people with potential
community
and
full-
opportunity.
yes, of course. We always have to look at that as well.
Yeah.
Growing up, financial stability has been definitely a concern for my family. It kind of started with my grandfather. He had to drop out of high school at a young age because
Okay.
of the passing of his father. And there was not a lot of resources around in the Appalachian Mountains, West Virginia, around
Yeah.
the 50s. And it really put him in a state of financial crisis. And this
So
is
he
wh-
basically had to support his family when his father
Yes,
passed.
he had 6 siblings.
Whoa.
And he had to take
Okay.
care of his mother as well.
Yeah.
And growing up, he had dyslexia as well.
Okay.
So it made things very difficult for him. And with the lack of resources, it was definitely a challenge for him. And I feel like that's where generational poverty kind of plays
Yeah,
into this,
that's
because
right.
it also kind of piled into my mother's childhood. Even though the conditions were a little bit better for her, I feel like the resources and programs that were available, there really wasn't many
Yeah,
for her.
that's right.
And at a young age, I think 10th grade, she had to drop out of high school herself. And with the lack of resources, it also made her life a little bit more difficult because financial stability was definitely a concern for her.
Yeah.
But now rolling into my generation, I'm willing to break this generational
Yeah.
chain. I really want to emphasize and focus on the resources available within the community, because I believe, especially Wayne Westland, there's so much potential that is oftentimes dismissed, and there's so
Yeah.
many great people who can definitely bring a big change. It's just we need more like government attention,
Okay.
and we just need more resources.
And do you mean both kind of like money to start the programming you want, like actual financial investment in your community,
Yes.
and then the kind of training and talent? What do you mean by resources?
I feel like a mix of both.
Okay.
Because if we have a little bit more funding within the community, I feel like we can build more resources and opportunities for people to thrive.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people need a proper foundation in order to prosper. And without that, I feel like the idea of financial stability might be a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
But like I said, with proper like funding and also just proper attention in a
Yeah,
sense,
that's right.
we can really make a difference within the community.
In the work that our program has done around youth and young adult financial security and stability, for us, it's been so important to say two things. One, that young people know what they need. They're closest to what's happening to them.
Yes.
And to your point that generations experience different things, they need to be part of this, right? They need
Yes.
to be leaders. And so the research we did, we interviewed many young people. We had them review what we thought. We were sort of like, I'm an older now. Like, am I doing this
Yes.
right? Am I doing right by you? Truly. And the second piece is the attention,
Yes.
and trying to really help our country understand that, like, either we care or we don't,
Yes.
but we have to care and we need to
Yes.
care. And that we are really missing, like more than half of young people are in families that are struggling or are struggling themselves. And we're missing out on all of their contributions. I'm wondering if you and your friends feel hopeful. Do you feel optimistic? Do you have like a finger wagging you need to do for me about what I need to get done for you? But what's on your minds about this?
I feel very optimistic about the future and kind of like the future of younger people kind of like engaging in more programs and opportunities to kind of emphasize financial stability.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like when we're focusing on younger people, most of the times we thinking about how generations before us kind of influence us.
Yeah.
But I feel like we also need to focus on how younger generations can influence older generations.
100%.
As I learn more about my future, because I'm going to college very soon, and
Okay. So wait, so what grade are you in?
I'm currently a junior. Well, I'm a rising senior,
You're a
so
rising
I'm
senior?
graduating 2025.
Oh my gosh. All right. This is very exciting. I want to hear where
Yes.
you're applying, everything, but we can do that maybe after video.
Yes. And the more I learn about the like experiences and the things it takes to fully kind of jump right into adulthood, because this is going to be quite a stressful time. There's no
Yeah.
reason to sugarcoat that.
That's right.
The more I learn is the more I relate back to my mother. Because like I said, she grew up in kind of an impoverished state.
Yeah.
And even though our situation has gotten better over time, there are still kind of that remnants
Yeah,
in there.
of course.
And the more I learn, the more she is willing to learn. And I kind of feel like the more younger people engage in learning about financial stability and kind of carrying on these lessons, I feel like we have the ability to teach older generations about
That's
this
right.
and maybe kind of start building better financial situations for many low-income families and especially in communities have great potential.
Yeah. I mean, right, because your mom, as we were saying, just the awareness, the prioritization,
Yes.
the infrastructure wasn't there to help her or to help her father. And we're hoping we're doing better, right? We're
Yes.
trying. I'm trying. We're trying
Yes.
to make it better for your generation, but your mom still needs it.
Of course, yes.
And I think one of the biggest things missing, which you referenced, is that because of your mom and her father, and again, not for lack of trying or caring, but there wasn't wealth to pass on intergenerationally.
Yes.
And so your grandpa didn't have that wealth for your mom does not have that for you.
Yes.
And it leaves you with sort of a real almost burden and responsibility to figure out how you make it through life without the cushion that, again, lots of young people your age have.
Yes.
What are you thinking about financing college? Like, what part of that is making you excited, anxious? You need more information. Again, we're telling people what young people need right now.
Yes. So just kind of to begin, I'm in a program called Upper Bound Trio
Okay.
at my high school. Shout out Miss Moore. They are greatly setting me up for post-secondary goals.
Okay.
And my goal is to go to college.
Yep.
So kind of like my worry about finances has significantly gone down since I've joined the Upward Bound program, but there's always those kind of worries, like how am I
Yeah.
going to pay for this? How am I going to balance my academics while possibly maintaining a job
Yeah.
so I can afford the luxuries and also the necessities, most
Yes.
importantly. And
And the joys and delights,
of
right?
course,
Like, it
yes.
shouldn't always be a grind.
Yes.
Yeah.
My main prerogative for college is not only to gain a good education, but is also just to maintain a good life and good social relationships.
right. That's
And
right.
I kind of feel like if financial burdens weren't as bad, maybe those could be more prosperous and I could focus a little bit more on those.
Yeah.
But like we have been talking about, that starts at younger ages. If we build a better foundation earlier on, things further on in life will be a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, that's so right. So is the program you're in helping you also figure out scholarships and other ways to
Yes.
finance?
Yes. In the program, we also take a class called Upward Bound Seminar.
Okay.
And throughout that class, we apply for scholarships, local, national.
Okay.
And we just find what best fits for us
Yes.
and what will help us most in the future when it comes to our post-secondary goals.
Yeah, I mean, we need more of that around the
Yes.
country for young people, and in particular, young people that are coming from communities of potential and hope, who otherwise don't have, again, the intergenerational wealth in their families
Yes.
or in their community to really help them. What else do you think, if you're thinking about your 20-year-old self, you're halfway through college, you've been doing things that are delighting you, and things that are academically challenging you? What other parts of going into full adulthood and being 100% responsible for all your finances, and you may already have some of that now, do you feel like you need help, guidance? What are the things you wish you'll have?
So, of
I'm
course,
like, all right, Olivia's got some answers for us. She's dropping some wisdom.
we need the necessities. We need to make sure we have everything that we need to live.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've also been thinking about is, my mom's getting older. Like she's a pretty good age, but she's getting older.
I mean, everyone is
And
every day.
my ultimate goal is to make sure not only can I provide for myself, but I can also help her out when she needs it.
Yeah, of course.
So ultimately, kind of looking into my future financial situations as I'm going into college, I just want to make sure that not only that I have the necessities, but my mom does as well.
Yeah.
And I just wish that as I learn more about financial stability and kind of being able to balance all of these things, I have time for myself. Like that allows me to spend time with friends, maintaining a social life without having to carry this heavy burden of,
right.
wow, I don't have enough money to get this. How am I
Yeah.
going to delegate or allocate funds for this, this, and this? And just going through that struggle because growing up throughout my life, there's definitely been times where money has been an issue and money has been something that's on my mind. And I'm hoping that later on in life, that won't be such a burden on my mind. Like, of course,
Yeah.
it's always going to be like a prioritization in your life. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you got to make sure you have enough for this.
Right.
But I also,
Or you have a goal of doing this thing and you want to be
Yes,
saving for
of
it. Right.
course.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure not only can I maintain those, but also help others in need as well.
Yeah. That's really great. And that makes total sense. And it also, you're sharing what I know a lot of young people feel, which is it isn't just about me. It's about, like, for you, your mom, but your extended community
Yes.
and the support that they're either going to ask you for or that you genuinely want to give because of everything they've done for you. I think we should wrap up, but what I want to wrap up with is one first. What do you think your major is going to be? What kind of career do you want? Where do you see yourself? Like a job interview, where you're going to be in 5 years. But no, really, like what inspires you and gets you excited to go to college to do the thing after?
So I love the humanities. And I also love social sciences.
Okay, good.
And one thing about me is I love writing as well.
Do you? That's
Yes,
amazing.
every emotion I have felt is on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I love writing about my feelings, my experiences, because honestly, if I can't tell someone something about myself, I tell it to a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I hope to major in possibly sociology or political science.
Oh, I love that.
I've always had a keen interest in like the medical system throughout the United States.
Okay.
And specifically medical disparities within low-income communities and how that can be changed and how families who have experienced that can receive the proper justice and care they need.
Well, and it relates so much to their financial
Yes.
well-being, right?
Of course. So I have hopes of attending law school and becoming a medical malpractice lawyer.
What? That's amazing. All right.
Yes. And hopefully further on in my life, maybe I can become some form of politician or
Not
someone who can
maybe. You will be.
and make policy change when it comes
Yeah.
to the medical system within the United States, kind of advocating for healthcare equity throughout low-income communities and marginalized communities within the United States.
Oh, that's beautiful, Olivia. I wish for all of that for you, but
Thank you.
I think you'll be able to achieve all of it, or you'll decide something different, and that will be awesome also. I asked you what was giving you hope right now, and I'm just going to leave you with what's giving me hope, and it's really you and other young leaders that we've met when we're interviewing or talking in community about how do we work together, like not just what's on your mind, but how can we work with you and support your leadership and what is really the world, the country, the community, the neighborhood you want to live in. And I feel deeply responsible for helping you guys do that. So thank you for your leadership and for chatting with me about financial security and youth and young adults.
Thank you for this opportunity.
That was great.